Hello and welcome to the 35th episode of the Gochuucast, where we definitely did not record 6 minutes, and I didn't realize that my audio settings had reset.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
Yeah, he always, whenever this happens,
I always
he's always
do reveal
we
it.
should just play it off.
It's gonna be like
to the intro.
it's too awkward to play off because I'm like, okay, I gotta like recreate 6 minutes of conversation.
Yeah, because we're gonna go back to the topic and then we're gonna pause for a second, and you're gonna be like, "So, anyone want to say something?"
Yeah. Anyway,
which is actually what we did the first time. Is we paused and we're like, "Oh, anyone want to say something?"
Okay, so what we're doing, simple, we're going over fall 2022 because we didn't do that last time. We just talked about stuff we watched in 2022 that didn't air then because we want to save the full year for its own thing, which will be in like a couple weeks.
We're going to look at winter 2023.
Yeah, and we're also going to look at winter 2023.
Do that.
Yeah, well, we kind of did. There's like a small...
We really talked about the bangers and the bangers only.
Yeah. So we'll go over those two things, and that'll be the episode. So I guess we're gonna speed run what we talked about. I guess. Anyway, Bocchi the Rock, the GOAT for 2022 fall. I should probably just open up the fucking.
Surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, I knew I knew I'd like it, and then it definitely was not what I expected.
I didn't know it existed. I think the first time we talked about it was on the podcast.
Yeah, I mentioned it was like, "Oh, what are you gonna watch?" I was like, "That's a PK anime."
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, Daniel was talking about this because it's related to Slow Loop in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's literally a conversation in the past of us talking about it like way back.
There probably is, because I remember it was when the first visual dropped. It was I'll drop it in our DMs real quick, I guess, but if anyone would like to look it up themselves, it should be, the visual is the same one that they used for the cover of their version of Rock and Roll Morning Light Shine on You or on Me or whatever, or Morning Light Shines on You. And so I saw the visual and I'm like, looks like something I would watch. It just it was like, it seemed depressing as comparison to the actual source material.
I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think when Daniel and I talked about it the first
time.
How the fuck
can I find it? Holy shit.
We even said, I think it's supposed to be like the more depressing, like real version of like girls start a band compared to like a Pikaon, which is not that.
I guess I'm going to YouTube to look up the fucking Kesuko band.
Oh, nice. They're on Spotify too, based.
Yeah, it's very based.
Yeah. I just figured it. I was just on YouTube and stuff, but that works.
Yeah, that was, imagine that, but just like what's in the picture, not the pink stuff or whatever. That makes it an album cover, a single cover.
Sitting in the dark.
I was like, yeah, I'd watch that, and so I put it on planning when it got announced or whatever, and no one really talked about it. And then the first few episodes aired, I'm like, yeah, I really like this so far. And then I think episode 4 was like where I really started to feel that it could definitely be something bigger. And a lot of other people thought that as well, because after episode 5, I believe that's when it like blew up, because that was the first like song, basically.
I was gonna say, it was also the case of what makes or breaks most music anime is whether it has good music. And Bocchi the Rock is pretty good music.
I do not dislike a single song in Bocchi the Rock. It did a great job with music.
Fair enough.
And it did a great job with a lot of other things as well, like animation, voice act. It was just all one good package, and it's definitely like a limited budget as well. And so I'm excited to see what season 2 could do, because like it's gonna get a season 2 at some point. It was way too popular not to, I feel.
The thing that I think a lot of people need to realize, with not necessarily anyone that I'm even talking to, but when talking about season 2 for Bocchi the Rock, is that it's a music anime. And so they can't just, say, "Oh, we have content to make a season 2. Let's go get to work," because they have to make new songs. And that's going to be, knowing the source material for what would be second season, I would not be surprised if Bocchi second season doesn't come out for a few years.
I mean, Cloverworks also has a lot to work on anyway.
It depends.
How far is the manga? You're like,
So in English, it's up to chapter 34.
okay.
And,
I'm reading that the anime goes up to like 22 or something. 20.
It goes up to 20.
Okay, gotcha.
So anyone who watched the anime and is
So it's
looking
like
to continue,
12, 13.
20
Yeah,
is the best place to start because there's a little bit of stuff that goes out of order. It
gotcha.
technically I think adapts 20 and 21, but I would rather anyone start from 20 if I was recommending it.
Right.
But in Japanese, it's up to 67 chapters, I think.
Something like
which
that.
is more than enough for
Another season, yeah. And hopefully, because like it doesn't seem to like release a volume two. It's like a volume once a year, maybe, but it's a 4 coma, so maybe like that now. Maybe the author feels a little bit of motivation after witnessing the anime. We'll see.
Yeah, it's funny to think about because I don't know. It's a 4 coma, and the source material is good, but looking at the source material and then looking at the anime that came out from it, the Cloverworks,
Yeah, they definitely
did a really good job at the adaptation.
They put a lot of love into it, yeah. Which is important. I think a lot of looking at Katakawa, the fucking publishing company that will shit out 20,000 isekai or whatever. I think they can probably take some lessons from some of the stuff that Cloverworks and like A1 are doing. It's like Cloverworks have had like this year they worked on Spy Family with Studio or whatever. Obviously that's very popular. They did Dress Up Darling, which was never supposed to get a season 2 apparently, and then it was so popular that they got one.
They had to, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that's where Bochi is.
That's probably where Bochi will be.
Bochi was almost certainly not ever supposed to get a season 2, and they didn't expect to, but then they made banger music, and it took off, and now they're like, well, the next season content is pretty good for Bochi, we just don't have music for it.
Yeah, it's just it is basically showing that you can put love into something, you can put time and effort into something. I don't know what the schedule for Bochi was like, but I imagine it can't be too bad because we never had any production problems or anything like that. And nothing ever came out or anything. So basically,
Cloverworks doesn't feel like they have production issues a lot with stuff like that. So I wonder if they just have schedules that are farther ahead than a lot of places.
I don't know, because Wonder Egg Priority suffered heavily from schedule problems. Which
I wonder if it's like
Wonder Egg
an issue of like really when it happened. Like, I mean, I don't know how much of the. I just know with like a lot of other industries in terms of like what COVID did in the past, like even until like late 2021, early 2022, I feel like it's had a lot of effect. So I don't think I assume like now, or I mean, I assume they started earlier in 2022, but I assume things that are happening now like have fewer production issues.
I mean, for sure, and there's still some that get COVID issues or whatever. But Wonder Egg, as far as I remember, didn't have COVID issues. It just had they had no like experience on their team, and there was there's a severe lack of coordination between the writers. Like they were like literally writing episodes like so there's like some like two different types of writing that you can either plan it out or you can be what they call a pantser, and that's just writing on like the fucking seat, or I don't know, I forget what like the whatever it is, but you just write as it comes to you. And so that's what they did. They're like, okay, episode 1 finished, what are we gonna do for episode 2, guys? And so they eventually they're like, fuck, we need to make a story, don't we? And so in the last few episodes, we're like, all right, here's our story, and it's really convoluted, and they couldn't get it done. And so we ended up with a lot of issues, and then episode 13 got delayed for a long time, and everyone's like, how is this going to wrap up the series? And they're like, okay, don't worry, it'll be a double-length episode. And it's like, okay, maybe we can get something done here. Half the episode was recap, and so it was technically just one episode. And that one episode left everyone with more questions than answers. In fact, it gave no answers. And so it was just a giant shit show. And then it came out afterward that like the production for the whole show was obviously bad, but the special episode was even worse because the director got hospitalized twice.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, apparently one day he collapsed, went to the hospital, and he fucking came back. And for this fucking work day, it's like, what are you doing, dude? It's just not. It was bad. It was really bad. I don't know what it's like over there now. Hopefully, obviously, it seems a lot better because they had Promised Neverland issues as well.
Right.
So it would seem they've recovered from whatever little thing their studio went through at that time.
Whatever blip they had in that moment.
Whatever issues they were having. Right now, they've been a very respectable studio in this past year. And hopefully they will keep that up going forward.
Speaking of Spy Family, we were discussing that when we had the aforementioned incident.
Yeah, we went from like mentioning a multitude of anime in 6 minutes to just talking about Gochuucast the Rock for 10.
That works.
Which, fair. Honestly, might be better content.
Probably.
Who knows? But yeah, Spy Family, last season there was the Mob Psycho, My Hero, Bleach, all had sequels that I think all lived up at least decently to previous seasons, or in the case of Spy Family Core, although second core a little weaker than the first core.
I think it definitely like viewed weaker across the board for the most. It's not like people hated it or anything, but I think a lot of other people definitely felt like it didn't live up to what the first part did. But yeah, generally second seasons have been doing fine, other than Shield Hero Season 2, which was a doozy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Blue Lock became the monkey anime of the season, which was not surprising at all.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize how monkey it would be until I started watching it.
We've talked about Blue Lock, but I intentionally would not tell you certain things about it. I just remember we would talk about it, and I would be like, well, it's good, but it's very shonen monkey and stuff like that. And then I'd be like, you'll maybe enjoy it, but you also might fucking hate it.
Yeah, maybe if I didn't watch it.
Know where you landed.
I don't know. I liked Awashi a lot more. Fuck Blue Lock.
Yeah.
Not actually fuck Blue Lock. I don't hate Blue Lock. It's easy to watch. It's just I don't know. I
don't know how I feel about the way it's been adapted also. But I don't necessarily know that it's a bad adaptation. It's just like
I think it's
I feel like the thing about the Blue Lock manga that made it really good was the fact the characters in the manga feel very strong. And in the anime, they just don't feel the same to me, I guess is how I would describe it.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't know.
we're still in the first core, which is kind of a turning point for the MC, obviously, who's a bitch at this point, but also every so often just like turns it up.
I don't. So I compared. He and the Awashi main character practically have the same fucking ability. There's a difference though. The Awashi main character will activate his ability whenever his bitch is nearby, and then in Blue Lock he activates it whenever the plot needs to ramp. They need to get the audience hyped up a little bit, and that's all Blue Lock is. It's just hype. It is the definition of overhype.
It is.
It's just, I don't know. I can't get I know what's going to happen. I can foresee the fucking future with all this shit. It's like, yeah, all right.
He knows.
We've been spending the whole episode on this motherfucker's backstory. He's not doing shit right now, but guess what? He's going to do shit at the end of this episode. He's going to have a hype moment, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's so cool. I'm like, okay, all right, sure. You give me the generic backstory so we can get onto the hype. Come on, let's go. I didn't like it. It's just, it's definitely not for me. I like it was everything. I think I've talked about why I don't watch sports anime before and why I enjoyed Awashi for my first real sports anime practically.
And then you took Blue Lock next.
And then Blue Lock is everything I despise about shonen and sports, and it's like, okay, or at least like not despise, but it's what I speculated I would despise about sports anime, and I was entirely correct.
Fair enough. I mean, wait, I do have an actual question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did they decide to change like the way Blue Lock? Because I was just like browsing the manga and like anime page. Why did they decided to make it all caps? Have you seen this? Like
I don't know. They made it one word in all caps for the anime.
Yeah.
But Blue Lock is 2 separate words.
Yeah, in the manga.
It looks like the English specifically they put it as Blue Lock.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know why,
it's
but
the English translation moment. I don't know
I haven't
why.
seen the translation yet.
it might be.
I mean, in the logos, a lot of times it is caps on the manga. Like if you go look at manga covers,
it might just look because
I'm pretty sure
I
on the
don't know.
manga covers it is like.
I'm looking at the
caps, like-
first cover here on just because it's on Annalist or whatever, and it just has the word blue in big blue letters or whatever. Actually, they have like a kind of underneath there as well.
This is the cover for 18. If you look underneath the Japanese, you can see it does have the Blue Lock caps like that. So it might just be because that's how.
That's just how the
It's been
Japanese wrote it. So they're
translated on
like,
the
all right,
covers."
let's take it.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not like they got it like personally translated or whatever for a Japanese cover. And they just like they wrote Blue Lock like that because it looks cool, I guess. And then Crunchyroll just ran with it or whatever.
Yeah,
But it's completely inconsequential, but
it is. But it is a funny thing to point out.
it's a little goofy. Other things.
Eminence came in and is also continuing, as is Blue Lock, into the next season, which is kind of
Eminence
why.
and Shadow is one of the anime of all time for sure.
Oh my gosh! Here
It's
we go again.
If you look at it, if you look at the cover, you read the name, you know what the anime will be like. We we don't have to talk about it too much. It's exactly as advertised.
We have a new #1 anime of all time on Mel as well. For now, anyway. Bleach.
Oh, now. Okay.
Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War was
Nice.
able to take over the top spot. It has been falling. It was like at 9.2 plus at one point, but it is the Full Metal Alchemist fans are coming for it right now. It's at a 9.14
Oh no,
now.
dude, you can't be taking #1, dude.
They're-
Those guys,
They'll
crazy.
chip away at it eventually.
Yeah.
So, but for right
Tomorrow,
now,
that thing's gonna be a 7 tomorrow.
I didn't even know that Bleach was like that on Val anyway.
I think it's just because like
I know a lot of people are hype about this arc, but I also don't have a good sense of whether this Bleach arc is actually like
I don't
that
know
good.
anything
Or
about
My knowledge
Bleach.
of Bleach extends to what I watched on Toonami as a kid.
I think part of it is I think it did actually have good animation, but also the only people watching Bleach at this point are Bleach fans, and so no one's gonna rate it. No one's gonna rate it poorly, likely. So it's they have a full advantage. And it's kind of what Bocchi the Rock did to like explode it, because Bocchi has like few enemies at this point besides like I don't know shonen fans that are mad that it's as highly rated as it is, and so that's why it was able to climb as high as it did.
I remember seeing a comment on some Bochi thing. It was someone who was just like, I fucking hate cute girls doing cute things. Where's my action or something?
Yeah, typical typical anime watcher, I don't know. Obviously it's not for everyone, but it's like I hate when people are like, "Oh, this is awful," when they've never seen a lick of it. Which is why I only slander things I've seen besides JoJo's. I will slander that no matter what, but
you know what? Amen.
We mentioned Mob Psycho. That is something also highly rated. I didn't like it more than season 2, but I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. The general consensus seems to be it was a good season. That probably wasn't better than season 2 for a lot of people, but still, it's not bad.
Yeah, it did.
I would like that show, but
it was the last season we'll ever have of it, probably, unless they have like some. I think there's like a Reagan spin-off manga or whatever that shows some of the aftermath and stuff, I think. But otherwise, it's the last like mob we'll see, and it did what every fucking series should do. You don't have to have a slapper ending. You just need to fucking end, and it did. It didn't try and go insano mode or anything. It had stuff happen at the end.
Did like a normal show and called it a day.
And you're just like, all right, and we're done. And that's all it needed to do. You don't need to make something big happen at the end. You just need to take what your story has done up to that point and wrap it all up in one little bow and be done. And congratulations, you have made a good enough ending. If you don't make people hate your ending, no one is going to. Everyone will like still praise your thing. You don't have to have a slapper. As much as like
already had slappers, right?
as much as a good ending can help your like piece of media, because it's like right at the end, right? Recency bias. It's like it technically works in that like way. Like if you have a hype moment at the start, but then you don't do anything for the rest, obviously, people aren't going to remember that hype moment as much, or at least they'll hold like the rest of it in contempt because it doesn't like feel as good as that moment. But yeah, but it's still better off to have people not caring as much about the end as opposed to people hating the end. And so it's just good that it ended without doing something stupid.
Yeah, that's fair. I will
like literally everything in the manga, or like is there? I mean, like when I say literally, I mean like not like every chapter, but like there's not. I mean, there's nothing left.
There's nothing left.
Literally nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people didn't even know if they were going to be able to like get a full 12 episodes or whatever out of the material they had left, which they did. Yeah. I don't know if they had any like anime original stuff or if they just like properly directed it to the like series composition is so important that and we're seeing like a lot of anime getting better about composition. So I think a lot of them definitely fell into the trap of like, okay, we need to adapt like X amount of like content or whatever is like the standard. I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want as long as it works. We're seeing a lot of light novels do that now.
Yeah.
And so
86 so well because it whole first season was just the one volume. We talk about 86 a lot, obviously, but
yeah,
like, that's to me a great example because I feel like there was a lot of things that would adapt light novels a few years ago, and they would be like, "Oh, we have to speed run through like the first 3 novels because, you know, who cares about those? We need to get to volume 10."
Yeah, the author of Origairu has been doing a lot of series composition for some animes and stuff. And he most recently did something we can talk about later. I'll bring it up again at that point, but he's been getting a lot of praise for how he's done things because he can sometimes like restructure like the source material, but he doesn't like hurt it at all. He just puts it in a way that will make the episode flow better or something like that, I believe is what I saw. And so well, I'm being slandered. Okay.
You are being slandered.
I thought it was funny.
It's pretty funny. He's just being dumb.
Anyway.
Because he's doing the thing where you take any list meme and take it seriously because Piplups has officially transitioned into cringe AniList users.
Yeah. Anyway. Moving on to other 2022 stuff. Chainsaw Man, you watched like what, 3 episodes maybe?
I watched a few episodes.
I watched like one, but I can't handle gore, so you know.
I think it's exactly 3 for same reason. I hate gore, but also I don't know. I got really bad last season with seasonals because I picked up a second job. Meanwhile, partway through the season, and so when the second job started, almost everything fell behind besides like Bochi and things I was watching in groups.
Yeah, there's stuff I'm probably going to put on pause. And by stuff, I mean The Little Lies We All Tell. It needs to go on pause. And then I need to catch up to Urusei as well. But,
yeah.
Because I want to get on and... Because I want to make a video for, like, the fucking year of 2022 or whatever. But, of course, I would have to... I'm gonna put it on pause right now.
You'd have to finish your year of 2022.
And I had a video earlier. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to... Because in one of my tier lists or whatever, for like looking back, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna not finish any more shows this year, and then here we are, and I put another show on the pause list, but it's just it's a little goofy, but yeah, it's not. I don't know. It was not entertaining enough for me to like desire to binge it, and so I'm not gonna oppose to just waiting on it. I'll finish it eventually, but. Anyway, Chainsaw Man. All right, so I thought it was good.
I think Chainsaw Man has done a good job adapting content that people enjoyed.
Yeah, apparently, like some people were like mad with like some of how it was directed in like Japan at least or whatever. There's like petitions like, oh, we need a new director. They cut some content, but I read the manga in its entirety in one sitting. Which is a terrible idea because holy shit, the pacing is just literally does not stop. But I thought it did fine. Like there are some things that it cut, but I thought it made sense, like the way that they did it. The way that I think it was fine. I think some people probably didn't like the CGI, but Mappa's CGI is always good, and so it's like, you know, it was fucking fine. It was not probably something that was going to be ever easy to adapt, and I think they did a good job at it. So, because there's literally no breaks.
I think that's a fair thing to say. Of like, this was a hard adaptation, and they did a good job of it, even if some people are upset. How much of the manga did it actually adapt?
It was like, fuck, I'd have to. I think it was like 30 something chapters. And there's technically 116 right now, but it's like the first part's 96.
Yeah,
it's which it might have been like 40.
Has the second season been announced, or what's like the plan for that?
I don't think it has. No,
I
haven't seen anything.
I'm sure
it will happen, but it hasn't been like officially announced or anything.
I feel like Mappa also doesn't tend to do that with the series where they do the season and then immediately say like, oh yeah, season 2 like right around the corner.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like you know it's gonna come eventually. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Because obviously they have a lot of other high profile series that they're working on, so it's like, you know, like you just fucking look at their thing right now.
Like, you can wait.
Like next year alone, they have Jujutsu Kaisen 2, the final season of Attack on Titan, the fucking Vinland Saga 2 is about to start airing, which we'll talk about later. And then Hell's Paradise. It's just they do a lot, and so yeah, definitely just have to wait and see on that. It'll happen eventually.
Fair enough. Well, I guess to transition pretty soon also, so we don't spend the whole hour on 2022. Is there anything that you watched in the this past season that really like surprised or impressed you that we haven't mentioned, or like you enjoyed a lot? Because like for me, for example, Beast
not
Saber
me personally, because I'm catching up on old stuff though.
That's fair. For me, Beast Saber was something I picked up just because, like, I don't know, Dragon Girl looks cute. It actually was a pretty nice, like, generic fantasy story. It didn't do anything crazy. I wouldn't recommend this to someone because it invented the wheel. But it was just like a nice, like, it did its thing. It wasn't overly horny or anything like that. It was just fun every week for the most part.
Okay.
So,
bro, I heard Beast Saber, and I was like, dude, what the heck? They made an anime out of that game?
Beast Saber, yeah.
Beast Tamer. Okay, yeah, you're good.
Saber anime. One day that'll probably happen.
Hey, listen, I just made something happen. We gotta get some people on here to make that happen.
Yeah, but in terms of things that I enjoyed, the short answer is we've already talked about everything I enjoyed from this past season. I did like Sword Isekai was goofy. It's not good. It's not like bad though. It's just it's a show
CGI
that exists.
On the sword were a moment in time for sure.
CGI hands. I don't feel like I ever like looked at her fucking hands. Just
no. So the sword.
He has eyes that are whatever, but
yeah, he has CGI eyes, but he would also like have hands.
Those hands. Okay, I mean it's fucking whatever.
Those were funny.
It's just it's a goofy
that's like
show.
One of those things that was like eye roll, but yeah, I also think it was a goofier show than I was expecting out of it. But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, and it got a season 2 fucking immediately, so good for it, I guess. Copium, because it's the same studio that did Elena. Why the fuck haven't they done a second season of that yet? I don't know. Probably because the production quality on that one's higher than fucking most of the things they do, but yeah, it's a little goofy. But I had general fun with it. Arknight's anime was decent as well. I was gonna make a video on it, but I'm like, yeah, I don't have enough to say. Probably overall, especially because I haven't played the game, so decided against that. But it had good production quality. It also got a second season right away, which gotcha money moment.
Gotcha money moment. Let's go.
And
here's Recon season 3.
There's some things that I like that To Your Eternity season 2 is doing, but it also does things I don't like, and so it's work in progress right now. We'll see.
Is it still? Yeah, it is still ongoing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's, second core started soon. Mm-hmm. Well, not soon. In fucking 2 days.
Otherwise, there was Novice Alchemist was a comfy watch every week.
Yeah.
For when she was more OP than any isekai protagonist.
Dude, there were just random moments that show would like pop off in animation. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
There were moments where the animation of this was better than some shonen. It would just be like, for why? She's an alchemist girl. That was like a nice one. Otherwise, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in this season that I started watching that I haven't finished, so I can't say too much on them.
yeah.
I can answer your question in 2 weeks with Gochu the Rock. Hopefully 2 weeks, especially because it's pretty bad for me, so I don't get the chance to watch much of Kaguya. But that's the next one, and then we'll see. I'm hyped. So
Especially
So-
speaking to us from inside of his microphone.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
can you not hear
you
me?
were like leaned back or something like that, and
oh,
so
I'm sorry. No, I was just saying that.
Well,
Gochu, I'll answer your question in 2
No,
weeks.
we
Gochu the Rock.
heard you.
yeah, we heard
No,
you.
got you,
It
got
was
Thought it
just like
funny.
I was underwater. I was,
Yeah, no. Underwater,
you were like in a cave, the sound bouncing off the
Yeah.
walls.
Yeah, listen, it's tough, but I gotta record the podcast in Mammoth Cave in Kentucky.
He's just fucking like lost in an uncharted section. He's got a connection somehow.
Brother Gochuucast has to live on. Gotta record.
They're gonna
Okay.
find your body. It's just a fucking Gochuucast is the last thing.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be big for PR. Actually, should we'll lose our we'll lose a
Fair
third
enough.
member, but it'll be great for advertising. But I guess we'll move on to 2023 now. I don't really have anything else to say about fall 2022.
Fall 2022 was a season.
It was a season where I had fun with some things, and despite, well, not despite, I don't think I despise anything from this season. But I didn't like Bochi the Rock. I think was like the only thing I'm like
Yeah.
super hyped about every week.
Yeah, I think the problem for me was I didn't watch that much, and of what I did watch, most of it was just kind of like I experienced that and moved on.
Yeah. Do It Yourself also existed, and we got the greatest GIF of all time. I can't say what appears on that GIF, but yeah, I found it hilarious, and I'm so glad that I have it.
Which gift? Oh, this one.
Yeah, this one's so
Oh my
fucking. This one's so
gosh.
fucking funny.
Oh my God.
I love it so much. Can't show it, but not that I would edit that in anyway. But
TOS.
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
So, winter
About a
2023.
Yeah, winter 2023,
2023.
also TOS. So, yeah, I'm going to jail. I'm on a list probably after the first episode of Onimai.
Right. We'll start with Onimai.
Yeah, we'll just get that
Luckily-
shit out of the way.
Luckily, originally, about a week ago, a bunch of us had agreed to watch Onimai episode 1 together, just to be funny as a group watch, and then the reviews came in and everything, and it sounded so bad that we sent Daniel to test it for us.
I was
And,
I
he
vetted
didn't
the
come
show.
back.
Oh no.
The only I'm like I just put it on my Annie list. What have I fucking done when I watched the episode?
Yeah. It's,
Uh,
interesting concept. That's all
I
I'll
don't
say.
know. Even just looking at it originally, it's like one of those things where it's like, if it's funny, I maybe would have watched it,
Sure.
but also it would have to be funny for me,
I
is how I would put it. I don't particularly like the art style much, and the plot's like super goofy sounding.
like the art style, I'd say, and it's like it's animated by Studio Bind, which they did Mushoku, and so obviously it's very good quality work. I guess they made this for like pocket change for future Mushoku seasons. I couldn't explain why they did this. Maybe I do think it's interesting though that like the studio, it was like made for Mushoku, but I wonder if they're gonna like stick around after that and make like quality adaptations of other things.
Yeah,
Yeah, one
it
day
is kind of funny for
they-
them to be making other things though.
yeah, hopefully one day if fucking White Fox eventually dies,
Oh,
they can take over
Re-
they can take over ReZero. The White Fox is a studio. It's fine. They're going under right now, basically.
Yeah.
Copium. Well, the thing that I have watched so far this season, the magical revolution of the reincarnated princess and the genius young lady.
That is an isekai name.
which is an isekai name, and I
Yeah,
read
you
the
can
whole
tell if
thing.
it goes beyond like 12 or 13 words, it's like I
Yep.
got it.
Which is, put simply, Yuri isekai with swords and magic. And if you're not hooked after just those words, I don't know
I don't know
what
what
to
to
tell
tell
you. Yeah,
Fair
it's
enough.
like all the things to enjoy in life:
Swords,
swords,
magic, and Yuri. The three,
Yeah,
like it's like
that's
death, life, and taxes.
three.
What is it? Death, taxes,
It's
and taxes.
honestly like collecting the Infinity Stones.
Oh, okay.
And this
There's
anime
only three of them.
clearly has. No, but it's episode 1. A bunch of us have watched it. I know Daniel's watched it. Episode 1 was pretty good.
It's the one I was going to mention before that the Origairu author he did the composition.
Okay, he did this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, it was like a little bit different from the source material, but in a way that it worked.
In a way that was nice.
Yeah. Which I mean, I can't speak to what actually happened there, but
My favorite part of the first episode, I guess, spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't watched the first episode of this and wants to. It doesn't want a spoiler on a not really story relevant thing, but kind of, I guess. My favorite part of the first episode was at the end, when the brother is cutting off his engagement with the one girl, and then the main character, which is the sister, comes in and is just like, well, if he doesn't want you, I guess I'll take you, and then literally puts her over her shoulder and then rides out on her magical science broom into the sky. And I'm just like, wow, she's literally Miss Steelio bitch.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't want the bitch, so it's like,
yeah, but it was still funny to me. She just came in and jacked his fiance or his ex-fiance. That's how the episode ended, and I was just like, that's base.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I feel like they could have, I don't know, characterized the brother better. He just seemed like a
I hate the brother
I
right
think
now, and
he
I don't
had
feel like
a-
I should hate the brother.
he has a valid point. It's just he comes across like a douche, and so it's like,
the brother is acting like I think most sane humans would act in his situation, although perhaps a bit too dickish about it.
he's
But
definitely too anime about it.
I can't fault his reasons for what he's doing. He's just being anime villain. But
He's being cartoony
expect-
about it.
I expect as the story progresses, the brother will become more of probably a neutral character. He doesn't seem like the type that's gonna become the antagonist or anything like that.
Yeah, I was looking for one of the threads on the fucking first episode of the show, but I found this. Here's Bocchi the Lock.
Why'd you?
Oh my god.
Okay, but surely you're gonna edit Bocchi the Lock on screen.
We'll see.
It works.
People can go find Bocchi the Lock themselves. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean they probably can. But yeah, so that's the only episode 1 that I have watched so far this season, even though a lot have come out, because most of them came out today. And I just haven't gotten to them because I am in day 1 of COVID, sitting in my house.
Have you guys seen sorry if you mentioned it, I didn't get it, but the because of browsing the anime, the Spy Classroom, the first anime aired.
Yeah, I watched the first episode of Spy Classroom.
Is it any good?
We'll see. I think it has good it's like good production. It's from Studio Feel. It has good production quality.
Right.
It's just we'll see where it goes. Is basically all I can say right now. Yeah.
Okay, that's the one. I'm excited. I'm excited to see once I get through like the backlog, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I've always liked the just mystery-ish type stuff. It's not like super whack. So that's something I'm interested in.
As I'm looking at this season, it is like 80% either sequels or random isekais.
Dude, it's like
it feels like there's a lot.
It's like 11 isekai or some shit this season. I think it was, including things from like last season carrying over.
Yeah.
And like I'm probably gonna be watching, half of them or something like that. But it's crazy to like look at the ones I'm watching and then also see like, oh yeah, and there's also the Ice Blade Sorcerer shall rule the world, and shit like that. Revenger.
Yeah, how many isekai am I even watching? Hopefully not too many. One,
I don't know.
two,
I just
three.
feel like there's an abnormally large amount of isekai this season, even given how oversaturated isekai is every season.
Okay, I'm technically watching 4, but I don't count the fucking the one we just talked about because it got like passing by mentioned kind of.
Magi Revo. Yeah,
Yeah,
Magi Revo has not made it clear whether it is fantasy or an isekai yet.
I
And
think it is an isekai. It's just you know,
not
it mentioned
addressed in
it's
episode 1.
yeah, it said the reincarnated princess. So it's definitely an isekai. It's just it does not. It's just using that for the title. It's just bait to get people to pick it up, I guess. Oh, this girl's actually gonna be main character. The fuck? Okay. Anyway, moving
Yeah,
on.
no, like the two, like of the characters, seeing the mains are weird because it's the two Yuri
Yeah,
couple, obviously. It's the maid.
I
And then
can
it's
see those, but I didn't expect the one
the
girl.
prince's, the prince's new fiance from setup. But then the alchemist girl is listed as supporting. So I'm like, why does this character become so important
We'll see.
to like the plot?
I also don't count Beaufrey as an isekai, so fight me on that, I guess.
It's not an isekai. She's playing a video.
More of an isekai than Dr. Stone.
Everyone like, oh, the MMOs are isekais. Like, fight me. Absolutely not.
No,
I refuse.
It's less of an isekai than Dr. Stone because she can just go back to the real world by logging out.
Oh, okay, dude.
Dr. Stone, they can't go back to the modern day.
We're not doing this.
Anyway,
You started it.
Danmachi.
I did.
Danmachi season 4 is off to part 2 is off to a fine start, I think.
Is the first episode good? I'm probably gonna.
I thought it was good.
Tonight.
It was a fun first episode. We'll see how things go the rest of the season, I guess. I have no idea how the characters are gonna get out of the situation that they're in. But
yeah, I can't picture how this season's gonna go. Unless Bell just becomes God, which, to be fair, he does that quite a bit.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be a Danmachi season. The content, from what a lot of people have said, is pretty good. So I suspect the season will be pretty good.
yeah. The first episode of Revenger dropped as well, which was mid as fuck.
As expected.
Average.
Yeah, it was. It's not even the Tokyo Revengers. It's just the Revenger.
They're Revengers. So this is just average.
It's just simply average. Doesn't. I don't know.
It's not in a specific city.
It was like it was definitely one of the episode ones ever for sure.
Sure.
I watched it. I'm like, yeah, all right. I guess I'll watch episode 2.
There's an anime.
It was
those are characters.
This is something I'm watching. That's for sure. Yeah, it's a little goofy. What else have I seen episode 1 of? I just
Angel Next Door soon.
I watched the Farming Isekai thing, the new Farming Isekai. I actually literally I watched it a few hours ago. I don't remember what happened. I've already forgotten what happened in the first episode. That's how.
So that means it wasn't notable enough.
That's how insignificant it was.
I mean, it's for what I've heard about it, the gimmick of this is basically just the fact that he actually does things that isekai characters don't tend to do.
I think he fucks, and that's all I know.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. I don't remember that in the first episode. I did fall asleep during part of it and had to rewind, so maybe I missed something.
May have missed it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's been out for like 3 days. The first episode to the Ice Guy adult romance.
Yeah, I think I thought about that one, but then didn't watch it.
I've heard really good things about it from the 2 people I know who have read it, Mars and Lugia, who tend to have pretty good opinions on this genre, so I suspect it'll be pretty good. But I have yet to watch episode 1 because I am bad at watching anime when I have anime to watch. And when I don't have anime to watch, I will sit there and search for something to watch and find the dumbest show that I have not seen episode 1 and 2 of, watch the first 2 episodes, and then never touch it again.
Yeah, I cannot quite afford to add anything else to my list. Because I added a bunch of stuff to my watch, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, there's a lot of things from last season that are still airing. Oh, shit. And so I have probably bitten off a lot more than I wanted to chew. Yeah, I think I counted like 20 plus things I'll be watching, which is like not even just 20 plus, just like 26 I think was, which is not
Oh
ideal.
my gosh.
Yeah, I'm like, oh fuck. Like,
Yeah, you gotta chill. You gotta chill.
I have overbooked considerably. I cannot afford to get behind on anything this season. Is basically how things are gonna go.
I kind of accidentally planned like 15 shows also, but some of them are short.
Gosh.
There's
Yeah,
a
I'm going one at a time.
there's a Love Live short that's like 4-minute episodes every week that I'll be watching.
Yeah.
It's not that much of a commitment.
Also for romances, short note on Tomo-chan, that exists, and if you like tomboys, it is probably very good. I'm not into tomboys.
I'm not either, so I'm not watching it.
Type, so I haven't touched it. But the important romance that's airing this season.
Yes, the
Kubo.
peak. Oh. Okay, that one of my.
I baited.
I definitely got baited in that one. I still love.
You
can't say got him. I still love Kubo as well.
I know.
Anyway, Kubo. No, not the shut the fuck up. We don't talk about the dog one. I saw the clip.
I wanted to specifically not talk about the dog one the whole time.
You had to bring up the dog one.
I know.
If you didn't bring it up, Daniel and I were going to ignore it.
Yeah, I was not prepared to watch a character shower through the perspective of a dog. Through that clip, it was quite something, and I'm so glad that I had the foresight to not fucking pick this up.
So wait, is it actually from the perspective of a dog?
It's literally dog POV.
Is that gimmick? Oh, okay. I thought it was like a.
You didn't think there was an actual dog involved.
Yeah. I thought it was something.
That's what I thought at first, and then I saw the thing, and then she started.
I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that makes it both better and worse.
It makes it a lot more funny, but it is so damn weird. Oh.
Okay, good to know. Anyway, Kubo.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing significant to say about it other than it's very comfy and I love it. And
the required viewing for all of our friends, and therefore,
yes, Kana Hanazawa will be blessing our ears in 4 days. But what will be blessing our ears tomorrow is the peak of romance, which I thought you were going to lead me into. Angel Next Door. I said Figaro, shut the fuck up. Angel Next Door airs tomorrow, 12 hours from now, basically on the dot, 12 hours, 1 minute. I'm very, very excited for...
Is it on the half hour that airs?
It says 8:30 a.m. GMT minus 5.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So...
Wake up.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Wake up and you'll be out.
Sit in bed.
I'm like creating my please don't fuck it up summoning circle.
It's fun for me because
you have no stakes.
Mars are two very good friends of mine, and you both like.
We don't agree on a lot of things, but this is the one thing we can shake hands on, and
there's not a lot of things that I stay 100% spoiler free on when my friends like them a lot, because I always end up looking up some random thing on accident and then see oh, this character is dead or something like that, right?
Yeah, no one's gonna be fucking dead.
Angel Next Door has nothing to spoil me on like that, so I have never seen anything for Angel Next Door other than cover arts that look cute.
Yeah, the voice actress for Mahiru, the main girl, is the same one as the white-haired girl from the gay isekai. I can't Magi Revo or whatever what it was.
Magi Revo.
Okay, I gotta remember that. I can't keep calling it the gay isekai.
You have to go Magi Revo.
Yeah.
At least until it has an official shorthand, which is probably Magi Revo. But
it probably has something like so. There's Magi Revo 1010 apparently is also because it's like Tensei Ojo to Tensai, right? So 1010 is technically something.
Reminds me of that Pokemon ripoff. You know what I'm talking? Temtem or whatever.
Temtem, but yeah, Magi Revo seems to be the cooler one than 1010.
Yeah, I expect that I will enjoy it. Although you guys always describe it as fluff, which is the description that scares me a little bit.
It's like
because it either means I'm going to really love it, or I'm going to be bored 2 episodes in and never touch it, and then you're gonna
but it's good fluff.
Based on what I've read, or based on, I shouldn't say based on what I've read, but like the actual thing. Supposing, I'm assuming they're going to adapt it relatively close to what is in the light novel Praying.
I'm assuming they're going to do the first two.
Yeah.
This is what I'm praying for.
No. Yeah, but I would say like even the first part of it, it's like, you can call it fluff, but I think
it still has substance.
The speed at which they do it, number one, is good, and I think number two, it's like I just think the premise is like somewhat unique, and it's like I think the characters. I think that's the best part. I really like the characters. I think they're anime tropey in a certain way, but they're like
they're not at this. It's like you want to call them tropey, but they're just not, because they break them in like in some sort of way.
I really like it. And they act like adults, more or less. There's some traditional like anime romancy things which I'm not a big fan of. But I think like in terms of how they act, they do act like
normal human beings for the most part,
more than other anime. Yeah,
that's fair.
I've said it before that like there'll be times where I'm expecting like a character they introduce, like, yeah, this guy's gonna be such a fucking asshole, and then they're like really nice. I'm like, oh man.
Sorry.
I just made assumptions on this character based on their potential archetype or whatever. I thought, I was like, this is just setting up for drama that I'm gonna hate, and then it didn't do that, and I'm like, oh.
And then he's like a nice stand-up dude, and you're like, I'm sorry for judging.
Yeah, he's like, hey, good luck out there. I'm like, oh fuck. Oh my god, dang it. I thought you were gonna be a problem. I'm sorry. But
that's kind of funny.
The author like describes the series as like a slow burn, but it's not even like slow. I wonder if that's like, they say slow burn as if because in one of the afterwards, like the novel, like the letter from the author type of thing at the end of every novel, they said that like they have a certain like point they want to get to, and I'm wondering like if they mean slow burn as if they're not gonna like time skip to that, or if slow burn, because like
they're going all the way there.
I'm wondering if it's gonna be like they're gonna genuinely have like a long running series about getting to the point that they want to, as opposed to like, okay, here's all the stuff we're doing right now, boom, time skip, okay, we're done. Right now I think there's 6 novels, and apparently there's enough material for like 10 in the web novel right now, and because they stopped writing it or whatever because they got contracted to just make the actual fucking novel. But yeah, I don't remember for sure, but I do hope it goes on for a long time. Though the reason I think they'll do 2 is because there's only 6. And so it'd be really awkward to adapt 3, because then if you want to make a season 2, all of a sudden you're in a lot like tighter of a situation where you can't really adapt it without just immediately running out of source material afterward. And 3 would be a really awkward place to end as well. So I think 2 just makes sense, because then season 2 would end on a great place.
Well, I hope it is I hope it's adapted well, first of all, because that'll make you guys happy, and I don't have to listen
to complaints every week.
Complain every week, which makes
I'll
me
follow
happy.
it.
But also, I don't know. I have expectations of this season, of this show, because you guys like it so much. So it's also like I would like to also enjoy it. Obviously, that's just a matter of when I watch it, if I enjoy it or not. But
yeah, I'm a person.
Like I
guess it depends on the person, but it's like I'm a person who's like, if somebody hypes it up, I'm like not gonna be mad if I don't like it, because I'm like aware that people like.
I would like feel bad though. How much
it is what it is. There, if people don't like it, I get it. There are certain aspects that I like. So I like I would recommend it, just because of the aspects I like. But if other people don't like it, whatever. There are shows that other people like that, I could not watch more than 10 minutes. So it is what it is.
I guess some things we can just mention, because someone's gonna be like, "Oh, you guys didn't mention Tokyo Revengers."
Fuck Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revengers has a season 2, and Nagatoro has a season 2. Both of those shows suck. So if you like them, enjoy the season.
All right. Well, anyway, we mentioned Bofuri 2 probably already. I will give Bofuri a 10 if someone falls through the map in season 2.
You know what? Down. Handshakes on this.
But Misfit of Demon King Academy has a season 2. Apparently that's going to be 2 core, according to leaks from a while ago.
means I need to
That should be
probably
something.
start watching season 1 pretty soon, probably during my COVID death.
So okay, so here's the thing, right? You'd probably be better off spending your time watching all the things on your paused. I can't say this is like a must-to-watch show in any capacity.
See, the problem is so many people in our friend group stand this show for no reason.
Do we though? It's goofy, but like I could never call it.
It feels like so many people in our group stand this show.
Let me just look at let me look at the ratings from season 1.
8. That's not surprising.
Okay, that's Resh. That Resh 8 is like a, I don't know, it's like a general 7.
Average person like 7.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like
Toshi gave it a 9.
Okay, that's Toshi though.
So like a good judge. Mars gave it a 77.
So it's like a 23. No.
That's a pretty good Mars score. I don't know.
No, he's a harsh critic.
70 Mars 77 is
depends.
Not like that's not hard, or that's not easy to get.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't say it's like worth watching over a multitude of other things. Is all I'll say. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you want to,
I mean, I
go
don't
for
know.
it.
I don't know if I'll actually.
It's not a bad watch.
Watch it. Part of me feels like I should because I have seen episode 1 of it, so it's not on my it's not listed on my any list as like something I have paused or anything. But like spiritually, it's technically paused.
Yeah.
Sarune has another season coming out.
Yeah.
And no one here is a sports fan other than me and Lukia, so we'll pop off about Sarune's second season. But most other people don't care.
Any sports anime that I would watch, it would certainly not be archery.
It's like a very nicely animated.
Yes, but I wouldn't want to watch an anime about archery.
Okay, fair
story. Enough. It's very sports drum, which is what's funny about the fact that I like it, because most shows of this same genre of sports, I'm usually like, it's too dramatic and not good enough at sports.
Do they commentate archery like they do golf? I feel like that would fit.
It has to be more hype. It has to be more hype than that. Come on.
Like
I've seen it at the Olympics. Just a little more hype.
He draws back his string.
So the way it works, it's kind of badass. A lot of times they'll have everyone lined up shooting at the same time, because it's done in a way that's I think it's poetry or something like that. If I remember right, it's done in a way where everyone's like synced up when they're shooting the arrows. And so they're like doing their poses together and everything. They draw together in theory, but they're still competing for like the score, obviously. But the way it's portrayed in the show is very it's kind of similar to golf in the sense that it's like they just kind of do their thing and it's very methodical, and then they shoot the arrow. And after that, someone will be like, "Oh my god, he got a bullseye!"
They hit the ball in golf.
Same as how in golf, they'll be like, "Oh my god, it's on the green already."
I will say a bullseye.
Sarune
probably
happens very good.
Happens more than a hole in one, though. At least.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot easier to shoot an arrow into a bullseye than it is to just fucking whack a ball as hard as you can to it into
one hole. You can only do that on Part 3s and 4s anyway, so.
I guess speaking of things that I'm the only one here who cares about, and there'll be like 2 people listening who care about, another D4 DJ. No Love Live this season, other than Jijion, I guess technically. No Love Live, but we get another Bushi Road production. So
too many. I guess the show that saved me from watching Unukai was Ayakashi Triangle. That's my horny for the season.
Okay.
Oh no, the quota.
So I used, because we watched the PV for Ayakashi Triangle, and I didn't realize this was also a gender bend show.
Yeah, he has like a technique or whatever that like turns him into a girl. And so I don't know how I'm supposed to like feel about that whenever I see like
when you watch Onimai and this.
Well, there's that like how am I supposed to feel when I see like the main guy of Ayakashi Triangle change genders and then get naked? I'm like, wait, hold on. What am I supposed to? For the same studio as Slow Loop, apparently. That's certainly something.
Kind of funny.
It is a little funny. I also did Strike the Blood, also horny.
I don't know. Ayakashi Triangle's from the Two Lover writer, right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh well,
I feel like
then you know what's up.
It'll be a fun watch.
Yeah,
you know
it
what's up.
it,
That's
it has
about all I can say
has
for
some
it.
has some
but-
controversy in the manga sphere.
Has it really?
So 2 chapters did not get translated into English because it had like
Uh-oh.
more like petite figured person and so, you know, obviously it's fucking Televery author, you know what's going on in this shit.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you know what if we didn't have the
What
lolly?
if we just don't show that?
And so they didn't. They just like did skip the chapters entirely, and people were like, "What the fuck?"
That's kind of funny, but also weird.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like
I get
Crunchyroll
it.
censored
I get
Onimai a little bit. And it's like if you know what you're getting into when you buy these things, right? When you buy the license for this shit, you know what you're doing. Like there's no, you got to go all in or just don't do it at all. Like if you don't agree with like what you're creating, I just don't feel like there's a reason to. I understand like why they do it. It's just
But also, it's like
you bought the fucking property. You
weird.
go down with your shit.
It feels to be like going to listen to like old 90s rap music and then getting mad when they're saying curse words and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
Or
like
going to an Eminem
Dirty
concert
humans.
and then being mad by like the way that Eminem speaks. And it's like, well, like you're right, but also why are you here?
exactly. It's like, look, I get it. I understand. It's just like I don't understand. Like especially Crunchyroll with like purchasing. You knew exactly what the fuck. You can read. You can read the manga for Onimai. You know what you bought. You don't need. Why are you? There's no reason to.
Listen, Daniel, it was in the package deal for Mushoku.
Yeah, I don't even know like.
You want Mushoku, you take Onimai.
Because apparently, like what they did was like for some of the things they like turned the fog and the res up a lot, so you couldn't see jack shit. And then not that it showed anything to begin with, I don't think anyway. Maybe I watched the fog version, I don't know. But then apparently they cut out some lines and some like entire scenes. They just like they turned into still frames instead of like fully animated. So it's like I don't know. I don't even know what version I watched. I just clicked on my alternative viewing site, but. I don't know. It's not like the end of the world or anything. I don't give a shit. I'm not like an Onimai fan or anything, but it's just I don't know.
It's just funny. It's like one of those things that when you point it out and think about it, it's like, yeah, I agree with it to an extent with some things, but with these things like this, where it's like,
It's like
no, you can watch this
there's
without
worse
knowing.
out there. Like, you know what you bought as just like with this show. You don't purchase the license for Onimai without knowing what Onimai is. Someone made the business decision. Someone read chapter 1. They're like, you know what? Good enough. We'll buy that.
Have you watched the first episode yet, Daniel, of the Beasts of Ours yet? The the like giant monster kaiju.
I feel like that was on my
Anime?
list, but I also don't feel like I have it on my list at the same time.
Wait, what's the actual name?
That's fair. This is an anime that I believe it's an anime original. Doesn't have any source material, but it's about like giant monsters on land and stuff like that.
I need to look for it on here.
Like, story takes place in the age of swords, heroes, and myths. That's all you need to hear. But if you need to hear more, giant beasts create land.
Oh fuck! Episode 1 came out. What the fuck? Why isn't it on my thing?
Hey,
Lion Second shit website. What the fuck?
I'm missing some stuff on my thing too. So
it's because I'm over the 20 like limit basically.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah, because yeah, I see it now. It's because I have so many like there's the anime in progress because I set everything to watching, right? So whenever it airs, it like goes into my airing section, and I don't have to like do it one by one or anything. I have not watched the first episode of it yet, no. But I do have it on my list. Same with Buddy Daddies, which is just Spy Family ripoff or whatever. I think I don't know.
Daniel and I are both gonna watch that. It's one of the anime original things for this season that nobody knows anything about, but it sounds potentially interesting. So
there's
the studio that is doing it has done like nothing that I recognize. So I don't know how that makes me feel.
I'd have to look real quick, but
I have to watch. I think like I guess it's not like quote unquote this season, but since we mentioned it earlier, that Diamond Pearl movie. That I have to see that. I'm like. I remember you mentioned it 5 or 6 episodes ago.
We also
I have to see that.
We were talking about it earlier You might have
Yeah.
been in the call when we were talking about. I don't remember, but yeah, last season there was the Diamond Pro movies, which will maybe get
Yeah.
subs for during this season potentially if they get subbed quickly.
Hopefully.
I don't know. We'll probably get the 6-month treatment with a Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably. But
I got to find out what the small brains are, they're complaining about. I got to find out what the small brain Andes. I can't keep up with both of them, bro. Just watch both of them at the same time. One eye on one, and one eye on the other. Just
another show this season that I'm interested to see if it'll be good or bad is kind of The Great Snow Sea, which is we've talked about 3D animation a few times here. This is a show that's entirely 3D animated from the look of
I
it.
think I had it on my list and I saw it was full CG. I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like watching this right now. Nothing against CG. I don't like full CG stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I've watched the PVs, looked around. First episode doesn't come out for a few more days from when we're recording, but the main girl looks a little goofy, but everything else in the PV I saw looked really good.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It just looks like the animation I guess quote unquote animation. It just looks like a little choppy. I don't know.
Well, CGI is like rarely going to look that clean.
Yeah. Of course,
it's
right?
also not being used to 3D animation.
Yeah.
Of it too. Yeah. Because like I've watched a decent amount of 3D animated stuff at this point, and so to me, it's like there are parts that look good, and there are parts that look really clunky. But this is by the studio that did Ajin, which I believe was also a like lighter 3D animation style.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. The story sounds like a story I will enjoy.
I think that's why I had it on my list initially, but then I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I saw the materials, like the what's it called for it. I'm like, I don't know.
I'll let you know.
I guess something very big that we haven't mentioned, Vinland Saga Season 2 is airing.
Vinland Saga Season 2. Funny story with Vinland Saga is that Daniel and I have both
only just watched
the entirety
it.
of Vinland Saga in the past 3 weeks. But we have also both finished in time, so...
Yeah, I did it like back-to-back days with a couple friends.
Days. Yeah. I had a slower burn where it was me, Resh, and Nunu all watched a couple episodes at a time for a few weeks.
I guess my opinion on Vinland Saga is that I think it does very good character work, and I like the setting. The action is a bit much for me.
The
action is
having problems with
it's
gore.
too anime.
When you were talking about having problems with gore, and then in that same conversation, I'm like, but I did just watch Vinland Saga over the last 3 weeks, where sometimes they literally just cut a person in half.
Oh my God.
It's not even that. It's like this dude chucked a spear from the top of a mountain 2 miles and pierced 4 people. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? Holy shit. No one's this fucking strong. I understand it's anime, but god dang, it's a historical setting. That's like my issue with it, right? If it was just anime, like its own thing, I'm like, okay, whatever. These are just like super strength people. But everyone has like a 200-inch broad jump. Actually,
strong,
it's just like, yeah, Viking's strong, but Viking can't use a sword to cut someone in half who has a helmet on. And then
that was my favorite part. He hits the helmet. It doesn't even look like he brings the sword down that much. It's so effortless. He just goes straight through the helmet.
Yeah, and then I think the spear was the most egregious part, but another one was when the dude threw the axe and he decapitated like 4 different people on like multiple different boats with a 1 throw or whatever. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. There were times where I could like let it go when he was like wielding the big log or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's like 7 foot, whatever. I can very muscular. I can believe he can like wield this log. But then when it's like he's throwing rocks and they're like literally exploding into the ground like cannonballs, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's so I'd be like very immersed in everything that's happening, and he does that shit. I'm like, okay, never mind, not immersed anymore. It just takes me out of it so much.
I agree. I think the story of Vinland is very good. I hope in this season that the main character wins me over.
Yeah, apparently that was just a prologue or whatever, so we'll see what goes on from here.
Season 1 was essentially what felt like the prologue to the story.
Not even felt like it. Like, literally, the fucking episode name was like end of prologue. So it's,
really? Fair enough.
in the chapter, in the manga or whatever I looked. Just the end of the prologue.
But I enjoyed the season 1 content. It's just
I'm interested to see where it goes.
I
However,
don't like the MC a ton, but I feel like
I think where he is now is an interesting point to
I
do
will
things.
like him a lot. Yeah, if he grows from where he is currently, because he's at like a crossroads with his character right now. That's like he can become really good for me, or he could just like lose me right here.
Yeah, I would say he's like at where what I coin is like a character reset, I suppose, where the character goes through some sort of event, and basically, it like works as a means for this character to be something new because they don't have anything now. Like his one goal, it doesn't exist anymore. Now what? And so
now he basically has to rebuild himself from.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah, and I like no fucking clue like where that starting point will be because the first season just kind of like ended, and we don't really know like where the starting point is. Other than I think it'll be a time skip of some kind, but we'll see.
I do know that. Actually, I won't say.
No spoil.
Remember how I said I get spoiled on things frequently? I haven't been spoiled on anything major in Vinland Saga, but just like there are things I know that are interesting.
He knows.
I haven't been spoiled on anything, thankfully. So we're chilling.
That's why I was like, I won't say it's not like that big of a spoiler, but I'm like, you might just enjoy not knowing.
Yeah, like I can enjoy things with spoilers. I would still prefer not to though. Like
same.
I don't think the quality of anything degrades with spoilers. It's just the experience does though, and so it's like
That's always.
I've seen this debate before.
Yeah, it's alluding to a previous debate. Probably the most crackhead take I've ever seen in my life.
I get it. I kind of get it.
I understand. I understand the point he was trying to make, but it's insensitive to be like, this is the only way. If you were not, I think when he said you're just enjoying the art wrong, I'm like, whoa, no.
Okay.
What are we doing? No.
No, I won't spoil, but I think I'm just trying to think of situations where I've been spoiled. Like I was spoiled in the ending of maybe a couple shows and random movies throughout my life, and like.
I was spoiled heavily on Clannad After Story, and yet I still enjoyed it heavily.
Yeah.
The experience was still great, but I feel like maybe it would have been an even better experience had I not.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, it was the greatest experience I ever had was hampered, and still the greatest experience ever. So it's who knows what it could have been, right?
Big praise.
Spoiled on Avengers Endgame, but I didn't believe that the spoiler because it sounded so.
That's a trick.
I got
don't believe anything.
I got spoiled for Infinity War because fucking YouTube is like, yep, here's a thumb.
Infinity War.
That was the one. It was in parentheses, or like big letters, like spoilers. Everyone who dies in Infinity War. But the problem is the thumbnail was everyone who died in Infinity War. So it's like, what the fuck was I supposed to do? It was...
Yeah, no, I saw like a Facebook comment that basically did the same thing. It was like, this character died, this character died, this character died, or some shit like that. And I read it and I was like, that sounds fake as fuck, and moved on. And then I watched Infinity War like 2 days later, and I was like, oh, well.
Yeah, I don't care about Marvel, so it was like, I don't know, I was not particularly hurt by the spoilers. It still would have made for a better experience not knowing like who's gonna get turned to dust or whatever. But
that's like the funny one for me.
Yeah.
To think about when I think about things I've been spoiled on. It's like when Infinity War came out, like nowhere was safe for no reason at all.
It's part of why I haven't watched Your Lie in April like full. I've watched 6 episodes of it. I don't even have my list for whatever reason. I don't think. Maybe I put it on there. I forgot. I did put it. Okay, I did put it on there. But yeah, I got spoiled on that. I'm like, okay, that's like the whole journey at this point. I mean, that's not the whole thing. There's obviously still going to be whatever, but I'm like, yeah, no.
Even knowing it's very worth it, but it's also like harder to watch.
It's like, yeah, I know I'm seeing these scenes like, and I'm thinking about them completely differently than I ever would, simply because I know the outcome of things. And it's worse. It's different when you're like, because you could almost like look at like manga reading. And then watching the anime is like a form of spoil, I guess, in like a copium sort of way. But like, I think it's different. Like going from like looking, like reading something on paper. Like I don't know if I've ever like cried reading a manga. I don't know if I've even read enough to do that. But I think anime is obviously a much easier medium to get invested into when you emotionally.
The voices and stuff like that. Yeah.
The voices, the music, just the movement, the colors. You're invested more.
It's a more vivid,
yes,
general. So it can resonate with. It's like real life is more vivid than anime. It's the next step up. You're more likely to cry in real life. That's the conclusion.
Like Oshinoko comes out should be next season, I think, or whatever. And there's like stuff in that happens. I'm like, am I gonna cry at this? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how they adapt it. Because when I'm reading the manga, I'm like, okay, I've got 90 more chapters to go. Let's keep moving. I don't know. Anyway, I guess
the only other thing coming out next season for me that's noteworthy is another Fate Grand Order adaptation, but it's it's just one of the goofy little mangas they release alongside it that's like fun, like just characters fucking around having fun type of thing. That's
it's a spin-off or
content. Yeah, it's just a spin-off manga.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess the last thing I want to mention is Nier Automata. Or Automata.
Yeah, that's fair.
Automata.
I'm not attached.
Potato.
That's actually pretty
I'm not attached to the Nier games, but that's
I don't know anything about it, but we had.
It'll be interesting to see, how they adapt that. Because it's like,
we had back in the romance episode, Wari was hyping that shit up, so I'm like, okay, I'll watch it.
That is true.
And it's A1, the what's it called? It looks great, right? And so I'll
the art
I'll definitely watch it.
Phenomenal. Like the cover art that you see on any list looks really nice.
It looks really, really good.
I just maybe I'll end up watching it, maybe I won't. I just don't have an attachment to this series or this character in any way. So
I have absolutely zero attachment
on it.
But we will see. We were supposed to get Strange Fake or was it last season we were supposed to get Strange Fake?
So we were supposed to get Strange Fake on December 31st, but now it's been delayed to June.
A little goofy. A1 being overwhelmed moment.
Perhaps, yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if we know what exactly delayed it. But
I think it might be the fact that they're doing Solo Leveling, Nier, and Mashal, and Fate Strange Fake, and whatever else they might announce for 2023.
You were most likely correct.
And also, they just finished the Kaguya movie in season 3. They did a lot. A1 has been going through it, right? So it's like, and the SAO like Progressive 2 dropped or whatever. They've been
good for their bank account.
The end, because all their stuff released like pretty late in the year. Besides Kaguya season 3, which was spring, everything was like summer or later. And they obviously A1 has very high production quality, and so it's like, and I think it was 86 Part 2 got delayed into technically the end of the middle of 2022. So they just been going through a lot. So that's probably where the delays came from.
I mean, I'm fine with it
if it's good.
The animation's gonna look good, probably. They released like a 6-minute PV for it that I watched that looked really good. So
yeah, I haven't looked at anything for it.
Take your delay. I will. It's also like the PV. I feel like for people who don't know all the characters in it, is still hype, but also you're like, who the fuck am I looking at right now?
Yeah.
Aries, and for me, it's like it pops in. It's like the fucking Smash reactors when a new character gets announced. It's like, yeah.
I cannot imagine getting hyped for like Minecraft Steve for fucking Smash. I don't know.
But yeah, no, I'm fine with the delay, because I hope that it means that it's going to be good, basically.
Yeah.
And with everything that they were already doing, it was already a bit of a worry of like, oh, how are they gonna also whip out like an hour-long special or however long it's gonna be?
Oh dear God, I'm looking at all my stuff, and when it's airing, there's so many things on Saturday again, dude. It's actually so scuffed. I have
no, that's how it is for me with Friday.
Yeah,
my Friday is really bad for me because there's a lot of stuff that's airing on Fridays, but not till next week on my list.
I've got My Hero Blue Lock for carrying over, but then we have Tokyo Avengers tomorrow, Angel tomorrow, Nier tomorrow, Demon King Academy tomorrow, What in the shitty isekai I'm watching tomorrow. And then Nagatoro second season tomorrow. So it's 1, 2, fucking
Oh,
3,
I know what
4,
the
5,
I know
7,
what the
8
perfect
shows
last
on Saturdays.
last
Holy
thing for
shit!
us to talk about. Pokemon.
Yeah,
There's
I was gonna say
the
I was surprised you didn't mention that because
there's the
I was looking
Ash.
at it.
We don't really know what it's gonna be at the moment, but it's essentially gonna be like 12 episodes of Pokemon anime that feels
Finale
like
kind
it's
of thing,
being
like a
marketed. Yeah, it
yeah.
feels like it's being marketed as like this is Ash's send off anime. 12
Which it
episode
kind of
anime.
is because he's getting replaced for
Yeah, well,
next gen.
Yeah,
But
no. It's literally his send off anime. But I think a lot of people are concerned over whether it's going to be actual content or just like basically a recap series,
I feel like
which
a
might be
recap would
fine
be
either
weird.
way. But I don't know.
I don't
It
feel like you
says
can recap
the
all of it.
description says celebrates the final chapter in Ash and Pikachu's story with their first companions and many Pokemon they have met throughout their journeys making their return. Which implies like new stories, but it'll be just kind of like
I think it'll just be
Ash
like a
and
little
Pikachu
send
have
off or
fun
whatever.
with everyone for a little bit. Maybe there's a story, but probably not. It'll probably just be like the fucking most fan servicey Pokemon stuff that I will eat the shit out of.
Yeah, I just kept seeing like oh my god, it's his kid for like the new whatever, and I'm like, okay guys, maybe I don't know. Everyone's like pointing to like her hairpin or whatever. It's like, oh my god, it's the same thing he had on his head.
Everyone has been overreacting about the characters, but we realistically know nothing about them.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I don't mind. I think
I'm tempted to watch it maybe just because like it's a reboot refresh. But God, I don't know if I could like take another watching Pokemon anime.
I'm definitely going to watch it. At the very least,
will think about
see what the new direction of Pokemon anime is going to be.
I will have you watch it and tell me if they use Shadow Ball on a Dark type.
That's my hope. Is that they just felt like they hit a wall with Ash in terms of writing.
There's only so many times you can like force him to lose. Like realistically, he probably should have won back in Sinnoh or whatever. But then they brought out Tobias with Darkrai and Latios and all that bullshit. But
so I'm hoping that this means it'll be going in a direction that's more, I don't know, different. I guess is how I would
closer
it.
to the games in some capacity.
Yeah, I liked Ash. Ash had some gimmicks, but I think when Ash's big like battle talent was essentially just being able to improvise shit that should not be able to happen, it's like hard and annoying to write about.
It was
write around.
Always that shit. Iron Tailing Mega Metagross. Okay.
No, they in Journeys, they even at one point I think introduced him into something, and even said like.
Yeah, I saw like the screenshot of that. It was like Diantha or whatever.
Something about how he's like essentially known in the Pokemon universe for unnatural tactics and stuff like that.
So I'm actually not sure because I haven't checked on YouTube or something. Do we have like a compilation of every like dumb move Ash has made for like the entirety of Pokemon?
I can think of like some off the top of my head because I remember Diamond and Pearl had a lot of like Diamond and Pearl had a lot of bullshit that happened. So he ate Energy Ball. He had his Grottle eat Energy Ball to like restore its health or some shit. So I'm like, okay, sure, Energy Ball. He ate it. Maybe it's just never been tested before, I guess. And then he had the Ice Aqua Jet or whatever, which at first was like a contest thing, which is pretty cool. But then he actually used it in battle, which I don't know how that works. But he had his Ice Aqua Jet. And then versus Paul, he had a few things. Where he used his moves like spinning in a circle to deflect other moves, and then he exploded fucking T-Spikes, or was it Stealth Rock? It was Stealth Rock, I think. Actually, no, maybe it was T-Spikes. Maybe it was both. I don't know. He got rid of like the hazards on the field by exploding he exploded the fucking arena with his Infernape or whatever, basically. Which like
there's also one of the ones that like I think people talk about too much. But one of the ones that I feel like I hear most people talk about is the Swallow, like Thunder Armor shit.
Oh, yeah, I remember. She was so stupid.
First, Kate and Liza. Now, my problem with that one being a complaint is he just procced guts.
Yeah.
But no,
that's cool.
That it was like it was very cool. but that's probably the one that I hear about the most as like stupid things. Other obviously than Pikachu Thunder Shocks the Sprinkler versus Onyx.
Yeah, it
That's
seems like
like
a fatal
that's like
flaw in
the
gym design.
that is the origins of
His bullshit.
Ash's bullshit.
Yeah, and then he overloaded a like motor drive or whatever, which
Okay,
like
overloading motor drive. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. No.
you think he'd like
Or-
give +6 speed or some shit to the like
my
heal.
problem is they could have just done that and not addressed it. That's my biggest issue.
They could have just like not said he had overdrive.
Not have overdrive
Different
or motor
ability.
drive, but instead they intentionally had him be immune to electric attacks earlier in the battle with motor drive, just so they could overload it by using the fucking Z move.
Because it's not like it's its only fucking ability. You can give it Vital Spirit or some shit. Like, surely we didn't.
That's the part I hated
or
about
whatever.
it. Not only was it like hacks that like makes no sense in Ash style, but the writers also intentionally made Ash do it.
Yeah.
They intentionally make everything that happens. They're the writers.
Yes. But sometimes you write yourself into corners, and this is a corner that they like made themselves.
Okay, true.
That's my thing. Because it's one thing if you write Ash into a corner and you're like, oh shit, we haven't evolved half of his team, and now he has to fight. Or like Diamond Pearl, where they're like, oh shit, we made him way too OP. And we can't have him winning this shit, because back then it was like, Ash can't win. Then her show's done. So let's just make a character that is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Except we lost just in front of, but that's beside the point.
A lot of goofy shit. I don't know. I think I'm glad I fell off of watching it after X and Y. I think that's probably...
Journeys was very good at times.
At times. And then other times you overload motor drive.
It was really good until Masters 8. And then it would do things where sometimes it was good, and then sometimes it was really bad.
I'm sure there's some bullshit in like X and Y that I just don't remember because I haven't watched it in fucking forever, but I don't know. I don't remember anything like egregious ever happening in that.
I mean, there's always the Greninja losing the 1v1 at the end.
That was bullshit. There's no way. Like, that Charizard had already taken a Thunderbolt, a pre-Mega Evolution, and then it ate multiple Greninja attacks, and it one-shot Greninja. I'm like, what are we? I'm like, what are we doing, dude?
It's like, I get it. Greninja's a frail Pokemon, but so is Charizard.
Yeah, Charizard.
Well, frail's not.
It's not like frail, but it took a fucking Thunderbolt from like a level 100 Pikachu already. I just don't understand, like, I don't know.
See, that's your assumption. Just don't
hit it with, just don't hit it with Thunderbolt, and you don't have this problem. Just have the Charizard beat Pikachu, because Charizard's better than Pikachu. I just don't understand. Or Mega Evolve the Charizard, and then have it get Thunderbolted, because Ash is dumb.
True.
I don't know. It's just so dumb.
Zard-wise, that's boosted.
Every time Ash should have fucking won, they whipped out the biggest crock of bullshit every time, and then... I don't know. Unova was like the freest to win because no one's there to beat him. No one.
At least in XY, it was fair because they actually built Elaine up into like a real character before him and Ash battled.
Yeah, and like the rest of the battle wasn't like that egregious or anything that I can remember. But it was just the end of that. It was really bad.
So it was like, okay, I know Elaine. I fuck with Elaine. And like that type of thing.
Yeah, instead of just bringing out like Tobias or some shit.
Tobias was just like,
They're like, guys, we made his team really strong this season. What do we do? he's beaten everyone.
And then the next season, they were like, okay, we can't do what we did last season, guys.
Just make him weak as shit.
Bad.
Dude, when Pikachu lost to Snivy, oh my god. Even as a younger person, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? This Pikachu's not losing till level 5 Snivy.
That was the problem, right? Is that it was very clearly made clear that this is the starting Snivy.
Yeah,
I don't know. Read levels down or like D levels down to 1 at every new league. Okay,
he does level down to 1 every time he goes.
But then
I don't know.
It's goofy.
Ash is. I will miss Ash as the Pokemon protagonist because Ash is cool to some degree, but I will not miss him as the character that the Pokemon anime is written around.
Yeah.
And I hope that the new characters are written in a way that I guess is more believable.
Yeah, it's no wonder all these kids suck at fucking Pokemon. I'm surprised anyone could become a VGC master watching this shit growing up. Like, I don't know. It's just
Kids be clicking Thunderbolt on Onyxes in the 90s and just like, why is it not work?
like, but it's raining. It's raining.
Yeah, right. Put a brain dance and then click Thunder.
They click like charge on their electric type and Thunderbolt of motor drives. Like, why didn't it overcharge? Why didn't it like fucking obliterate this thing? What? I don't know. It's so dumb.
It's funny, but it's also
One of my
Ash's gimmicks were too goofy.
yeah, one of my nieces is getting into Pokemon. I hope I battle her one day and just fucking kick her ass. It'd be so funny.
It feels like a secret boss moment.
Yeah, I can't wait till they're like cognitively functioning enough to. I mean, not that they're like that young or whatever, but whenever they're old enough to like, I don't know, challenge me to a video game or something like that, I can't wait to just fucking obliterate them. Making kids' days worse is just such a great feeling.
Dude, relax, man.
No, playing multiverses was so fun because I could tell I'm fighting like 5-year-olds or whatever in this free fighting game. And then I became like a top like 3,000 Shaggy or some shit, and then I was fighting Sweats. But
the problem would be you would tag Daniel to do something, you'd be like, "Sorry, I'm beating up children right now."
Beating up children.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Anyway, speaking of beating up children, that's a dead end for your life. And speaking of dead ends, that's the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you should subscribe, and if you're on audio only, you should follow our thing. You should rate us 5 stars as well. Like the video. If you are on audio only and you'd like to go see the visual side of things, not that much is going on over here, but it's a little bit better than absolutely nothing. You can go to our YouTube at Is the Order an Anime Podcast, and then if you are on the visual side of things, but maybe you want to listen on the go, you can find us. Our Anchor link is down below, link to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., all that stuff. We will see you next Saturday, 3 p.m. EST. As always, have a good day and goodbye.